This is the Male Rights Activist Podcast, episode 121. We focus on relationships, sports, and pop culture from a man's point of view. First of all, we want to thank our listeners, our new ones, our OGs. Thank you for hanging with the fellas.
What up?
On today's show, Will Smith puts on a clinic on how to apologize.
Man, I hope former Eisenhower basketball coach Johnson was watching that. I'm ready to hear his apology now.
A guy gets 6 wives pregnant.
Oh, man, that means he's got to go to 6 co-ed baby showers.
We have a post-nut story from a guy who risked getting kicked off the football team for some tail, and LeVar Ball warns his sons about them women out there. All that and more right now. This MRA podcast with Kyle and Kamel, where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. I am Kyle.
I'm Kamel.
We are saving relationships one listener at a time. Kamel, President Trump finally let Biden's team get started with transition. He said he's doing it to help Emily Murphy. What a guy. Aww. He wants to help her avoid all the threats she's been getting. She's been harassed, threatened, and abused. I don't want this to happen to her or family, or employees of GSA. So now they can finally let President-elect Joe Biden start the transition. How you feel about it, dog, real quick?
To be honest with you, man, I'm a little disappointed in Trump.
You want him to keep kicking and screaming?
I wanted this man to stay in the White House until Inauguration Day, and they're dragging him out, and he's not dressed with like a wife beater on and like boxers, and before he put his spray tan on, and before he put his hair clips in, just funny. Look pathetic and ridiculous, man. That's what I wanted, man. I wanted them to go in like Delta Force, like early 4 a.m, like kicking the door, boom, boom. But nah, man, he needed to. I think the other Republicans, the senators and stuff like that, they were like, dude, it's time, man. Because here's the thing about it. They don't see a possible path for a Trump victory. So, based on the Constitution, January 21st or the 20th, whenever the Inauguration Day is, he's the next president. They don't want to go. They don't want him going into it blindly. They don't really like Democrats, but guess what? They also don't want. They don't want this country to fail. They don't want him to go in there just like, I don't know what the fuck to do, playing catch up. Mm-hmm. When he was supposed to have 6 months to get up to speed, you don't want him to get. I mean, not 6 months, but 2 months to get up to speed.
Yes.
You don't want the man going in like, now from January to March, I got to learn everything where you're supposed to be hitting the ground running. So I think that he got pressure from the Republicans, especially the ones that just won.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, we got, the senators, we got another 6 years. Mm-hmm. We don't give a fuck if you mean tweet us. We worry about that
hilarious.
Shit 5 years from now. I think he started getting pressure, man. He's doing the right thing. He says he's never going to concede. So I think that's for his base. I didn't lose. Like, you can say that shit in Florida.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah,
but as long as you let the transition happen, and it is what it is, man. Could you imagine, dude, if you were on the transition team for your ex-wife and her new man, like, let me get you up to speed, dog. So here's a password. Now listen, dude, you got to understand. She's kind of cranky in the morning, right? And in the middle of the day, and especially at night, right? She's kind of cranky when she's awake. But here's what you do. Actually, I don't know what you should do. That's why you're here, and that's why I'm leaving.
Man, yeah, I probably... Here's the thing about it, man. If I was part of like my ex-wife's transition or something like that, any of my ex's transition, they probably would still be single.
Hilarious.
No hating. It's just like, if I keep it 100, all right, look, goddamn.
That's funny, man. Hey, listen, did you watch a Kevin Hart special?
I did.
You did, man. How did you like it, man? I'm not gonna put you on the spot. I'll go first, man.
No, I mean,
Are you ready?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Me and the wife sat down and watched it. Here's the thing about it. I didn't want to.
You didn't want to enjoy it. You wanted to hate.
Well, no, I didn't want to watch it. It's like, you've seen one Kevin Hart special. You've seen them all. It's the same thing, talking about his family, how small he is, and his, he gets bullied a lot and stuff like that. People don't respect his gangster. It's like, I've seen it before. This one was a little different. Mm-hmm. And I saw that he was inspired by this new comedian. And maybe it was because of him getting canceled. That he's basically, like he said, he has zero fucks and stuff like that. But I definitely saw that he was inspired by this new wave of comedy where we're just going to just speak our minds. I really appreciate it. I think my favorite bit was when he was talking about his kids were complaining what they were there with their ex-wife and they didn't have shit. They had to stand in line and he like, put your mom on the phone. Checkmate, bitch. And that was such a Chappelle joke, a Chappelle punchline.
Yes.
You know, it was like, okay, you know, and this is, I think this is what a lot of other comedians have wanted from Kevin Hart. They would just say he was bland. Come on, man. You know, they came off as like hate.
Yes.
But it's like, man, they probably saw his potential. They saw when he was younger. They saw like, he's just taking like, you know, he's doing safe.
That's exactly what's safe. And that's what happens when, I mean, listen, man, when we get affiliates around here, man, we tend to get safe because we think, oh, man, we don't want to offend people. Imagine the sponsors he's had. Imagine that, you know, the kind of things that he has to feel with, like, ugh. You know, I got to be safe, man. Speaking of that joke about his wife, by the way, he said, I went over these jokes with my wife yet. I just want you guys to know these jokes are probably going to come with a price tag attached. She's probably going to want a Tesla truck or something. According to the Jasmine brand, Kevin's ex-wife, Tori, she did post on social media, said, I'm still waiting for my Tesla at Kevin Hart for real. So she, and hashtag and everything else owed to me, which is hilarious to me, man. I like this special too. This is what I think. I think he said, I don't know if it was the last Netflix thing when it was behind the scenes, but he was talking about his year, how this year's planned and next year's planned as well. And he said he's going to release, I think he said in 2021, a dark special where he goes rogue. And I think some of this stuff had to have already been written before the pandemic because there's no way in hell. I mean, some of it felt like he wrote it in the pandemic, but there's no way in hell you can have an hour that tight. It wasn't that tight. It wasn't tight like a tour tight, but it was way tighter than these. I'm just trying these out tight. You know what I mean? There's no way. So I think this was that. I think he had some of these already. I do believe that Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, and Bill Burr, and the style that people are respecting, and these people are also doing things on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're comedians, man. We're very competitive, dude. Comedy is the basketball for non-basketball players. I know you think you're a basketball player, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we're very competitive. We want to kill the hardest. We want to have the most original stuff, just like rappers. They want to have the best line. They want to have the line that makes you remember. So I believe that Kevin Hart he was attempting to go darker. I appreciate him trying. I found it entertaining. I didn't think it was as tight as, you know, I didn't think it was as tight as it could be, but I was happy that I thought it was very good for a pandemic special, dog. And then he recorded it at his house. That was real player, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think this is probably my favorite Kevin Hart special.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and here's the thing. We saw some shit on Facebook before. People were saying they went to sleep and it was boring. They laughed a couple times. So I'm going into it like, oh, my gosh, this is more Hollywood shit. Mm-hmm. But, man, honestly, I was... You know, even my wife said, I didn't want to laugh. I was like, dude, this shit actually had me laughing, dude. She was talking about the daughter being a hoe and the daughter's boyfriends. You know, he was like rating each one. It was like, dude, this is...
Yeah, all right, Kevin Hart, you standing up.
Yeah, this is cool to me. I laughed.
Let me tell you what I loved, Undisputed. Didn't have to wonder if I loved. That Fresh Prince reunion on HBO Max. Let me tell you something, Kamau. That thing was so good, but the thing that was even better is what you sent me, the Red Table Talk afterwards. Let me tell you, dude, I already bowed down to Will Smith's greatness, but his apology game and his listening game and that Red Table Talk is free. You guys need to check it out on Facebook. First of all, you know you're killing it when you can tell your wife, listen, babe, I got a big show coming out. Let me borrow your show for a second. I need to promote something. Let me borrow your show right quick. It's just going to be me and my psychologist or psychiatrist. And they talked about how he had to apologize to the original Aunt Viv. Kamau, his listening game without defending, man, I struggle with that, dude.
He's a much better man than me. And let me say this, because I watched the special and I watched the Red Table Talk, man. Aunt Viv, you know, the original Aunt Viv, she's what she said to me was sickening. Yeah, it was sickening, man, how she blames one person for her life's miseries. Like the way her life and her son getting mushed at school and all of these things, she blames it all on Will Smith for some shit that happened, 27 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like some shit that he said one time she was difficult to work with, and she blamed him for everything that went wrong in her life after that. You know, the family's fucked up. You did this. Mm-hmm. And it was like, are you serious? This woman has to be pushing 70 years old, Kyle. And she still blames one person. Let me tell you something, dude.
All right, guys, now it's time for the lesson of the day.
If your life isn't where it's supposed to be, and you can blame one person that's not like a parental figure who didn't raise you, one guy, one gal who messed up your entire life, you're right and you're wrong. You're right about being one person, but you're wrong about who it is. It's you. It's you. You cannot, she cannot put this all on Will. Yes. You know what I'm saying? He gave her a black eye. You know what I'm saying? Her name.
Not
gave
literally. Her name. Yes.
Gave her name a black eye. But man, I would be trying
what did you contribute to that?
I would be trying to work so hard to pull up in Will's face at Grammy time or Oscar time. I would just be like, you know, in the gym training with Will's picture on a punching bag. You know, if she felt that way about it. But it's like, you know, some people, man, like we were talking about a few months ago, Scott LaRock's son. He blames KRS-One for everything. I went to jail, KRS-One.
Yeah.
Grew up in the projects, KRS-One. It's like, how do you blame one person for everything that went wrong in your life?
Come on, I've got 2 words for you.
Yes.
Coach Johnson.
No. Totally different. Totally different. I despise Coach Johnson. I despise Coach Johnson.
Yes.
But here's the thing, man. Coach Johnson, everything went wrong, but Coach Johnson didn't put me on the team. Mm-hmm. That was it. Mm-hmm. It was a big part of my life. That wasn't my life. I wouldn't go fucking make it to the pros. He didn't keep me out of pro basketball.
True.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't keep me from playing big-time D1 college basketball. If I made that team, Kyle, I would have sat the bench the entire year. I mean, really.
I appreciate this perspective.
I mean, what? I wasn't going to... Damon was the fucking point guard. I wasn't going to play. And so it's like, I felt that he did me wrong as far as like I was a kid, but he didn't ruin my career. Absolutely. Or nothing like that. You know
and
what
if he did, and I'll say this, Kamal, because we got to move to the next one, but I will say this, dude. You have to also talk about what you did to contribute to that. Right. Because if he labeled you as difficult, were you?
Exactly. And here's the thing about it. I reflect on my shit with Coach Johnson a lot in this past 30 years. And guess what, Kyle? I often think about what could I have done differently.
Nice.
As a 45,
and I hope she does too.
As a 45-year-old man, I think, man, well, maybe I could have probably
it really has
did
been
that.
30 years. I'm thinking it ain't been no damn 30 years.
But guess what, though? What I don't do is still be sitting around stewing, fuck that guy. Now, it comes up in the show and stuff like that, but I'm not in my shower thinking, man, if it wasn't for him, I would be sitting with, you know what I'm saying, Eddie Murphy writing jokes. No, that was a part of my life.
But I got to defend her on this tip, though, man, because in Hollywood, man, somebody can scar your name, man, where nobody's fucking with you. Especially if they're the biggest star in Hollywood. Yeah. It can happen, dude.
But you
still got to own what you did. Go ahead.
He wasn't at the time. You know what I'm saying? This was before movies. This was like, this was the 3rd year. After the 3rd year, he was still in high school. It wasn't even the good years when he went to college.
True.
And I'll say this. I like the fact that they embraced and she apologized too because she's been going in on this man.
Yeah, she has.
For years. The one thing I can truly appreciate is if you watch the special and everyone's hugging on Viv, guess who ain't there?
Who?
Carlton.
Why not?
You know why? Because she goes in on him too. Watch all her shit. She goes in on Alfonso Ribeiro calling him Will's bitch and his puppet and all that. And Alfonso was like, motherfucker, I had nothing to do with that. I'm sure he's saying that.
Okay, so when she's hugging Tatiana, she's hugging...
Watch the whole clip. He's not even there.
Wow. Somebody said something about that. I thought they were referring to the one-on-one when he wasn't there.
He ain't there in the group.
So when her segment comes, he steps away.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe he had to go take a piss or something. He had to go pick up his kids, or he had to shoot something, whatever.
Wow.
He ain't there. And he don't say nothing about her. Everyone's talking. Yeah, he don't say nothing about her because the thing about it is, like, man, he's been catching venom because him and Will was tight. And I guess she expected him to take up for her. He's like, nigga, Will been straight with me. He ain't never said.
Like, just like, what's her name? Gabrielle Union did. Defend me to Terry Crews.
Yeah, you're like, man, motherfucker's been cool to me. What the fuck?
Hey, fellas, one thing I took from that man is women want to be defended, even a woman her age. Because Will said, first of all, Will didn't defend himself when she was going in about how she blamed him for the turn of his life. And Kyle Irby would have been like, whoa. He never said that. That was impressive. And second of all, he came to the realization that he should have done a better job of protecting than unleashing the hounds on her. And I thought, that's a man's job. Protect and provide. Never forget to protect. When we come back, we have some feedback. And then after that, we have a post-nut story from a guy who risked getting kicked off the football team for some ass. What happened? Find out soon. It's the MRA Podcast. Hey, what's up, guys? I sure hope you're enjoying the show. If you like it, I invite you to go to our website, themrapodcast.com, and catch up on over 100 episodes that we have in store for you.
You ain't working. You might as well check us out.
And if you want some more, go over to The World According to Cheryl and check me out on Cheryl Underwood's podcast. We post content there every single day. We have her normal radio show labeled SUR, and then the Cheryl Underwood podcast, where we get in her personal business every Friday. Then on the weekends, we have the specialty shows that range from Late Night Cupcake into Auntie Cheryl's House Party to our gospel show, Spiritual Nourishment.
You gotta check out The World According to Cheryl, even though I ain't on it.
We got some feedback, homie.
Do we now?
Yes, we do, man. Before we get into that, man, I must say, man, you have a fresh blue Yankee on that you talked about from the birthday episode.
Yeah, man.
And
birthday
that
kid.
bad boy is nice, man. We laughed and joked off the air about how it just takes one person to sit on your goddamn hat and your hat is done forever. Your hat is ruined.
Yeah.
Ladies, watch for the fucking hat. Would you sit on your child? Would you ever sit on your child? No. When you see a hat, first of all, fellas, don't ever leave a hat on a couch. But if you happen to get caught slipping, don't ever plop on this hat. And then bring it out under your butt and just toss it like it's not a big deal. There needs to be a funeral if you sat on that man's hat.
The person who always sits on the hat never recognizes that the hat is done.
They never recognize how serious the hat sit is. Can't you just... No, you cannot.
Yeah.
I need $45 for a new one.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. This feedback is short and sweet. It says, I'm glad Nadia from Brooklyn is single so I can shoot my shot. That's from Ontario in Inglewood.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, man. I know a lot of people are probably rooting for her to be single, man. You
Absolutely.
know? I'm sure she's going to have a lot of suitors.
I'm sure she will, man. I can't wait to hear about her adventures. When we come back, man, we have a post-nut story from a guy who risked getting kicked off the football team for some ass. What happened? Find out next. It's the MRA Podcast. According to Webster's dictionary, being in post-nut mode is when you have a clear mind and you can make sound decisions as if you just busted a nut.
Yeah, I don't know if Webster actually said that.
No, he didn't. But our listener, Big Easy Q, told us all about it, and we can relate. Women, men. So listen, if you have a story of when you did something foolish.
In pre-nut mode.
Yeah, something really dumb. Maybe it was top crime, especially something in pre-nut mode you don't want nobody to know about. Hit us up, and we'll tell the world. We can all laugh at your expense, and hopefully you'll learn from your mistakes.
Aristotle once said, the results of pre-nut mode is the best teacher. I think he said some shit like that.
Send us your stories at dearirby@themrapodcast.com. That's dearirby@themrapodcast.com. And now it's time for a post-nut mode story, only on the MRA Podcast. Here we go. This one is from Duke in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I used to play ball at a Big Ten powerhouse on the D line. Back in school, I used to smoke a lot of weed. I used to love to get high before practice because it got me right. But the bad part was I got suspended from the team 3 times for smoking. Coach said the next time I got caught, I was off the team. The night before our biggest game of the year against our rival, I met a cheerleader from the opposite team at the team luncheon. I got so high back then that even the people on the other team knew how much I smoked. Me and old girl started talking, and before I knew it, she said she wanted me to sneak out and get her high. She said if I did, she would make it worth my while. So I said yes. But they say weed makes you paranoid. I started thinking it was a setup. What if her team put her up to this to get me kicked out the game? I wanted to hit it so bad I said fuck it and went out with her anyway. She was true to her word. She really did make it worth my while. I never got caught, and I balled out the next day. But every time I think of that game, I think of how I almost missed it. That's from Duke in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Come out.
Duke was tripping on this one, man. Well, I'll say this. You know me. I live,
yes.
Fear guides me.
Yes.
It's my moral compass is fear. And, man, when those instincts kicked in about what if this is a setup, yes. I would have went with those instincts, man. Man, she can't come through. I would have tried to have her come through, but I wouldn't have had any dope on me whatsoever. I would have tried to just use the old charm, and if that didn't work, I'm going home and rubbing one out. But nah, man, you weren't gonna catch me slipping. Now, luckily for him, she was genuine.
Yeah.
But man,
he felt that. But I'm thinking, man, I think the thing that scares me is I would have rolled the dice just like dude, and I would have known. You know how many people know that it might be a setup? A lot of times you think, oh man, that fool, didn't you know it was a setup? I thought it might be. I just hoped it wasn't.
Like Marion Barry when he got caught with that bitch. This bitch set me up. He walking around with naked and shit like, man, goddamn.
He didn't know. That's the difference. Marion Barry had no idea.
But I'm saying when it happened, he was pretty much like, shit, man. Yeah, he wasn't crazy. He wasn't trying to lie his way out of it or nothing. He was like, fuck.
He knew he was caught. Give my wife on the phone. We come back, man. Dr. Dre and his wife are at it again. What's going on now? We will tell you. It's the MRA Podcast. Hey guys, if you're digging the show, then please tell somebody. People might say something to you like, hey man, what podcast you listening to? And that's when you say the MRA Podcast with Kyle and Kamal.
Or the MRA Podcast with Kamal and Kyle.
Kamal, it seems like every other week we got a Dr. Dre update. And this time, it's a very interesting one, Kamal. Dr. Dre and Nicole are back in the media because this time it's coming from Dre's side. Now, remember we talked about how Dr. Dre gets to control the media. He gets to put his words out there. He is reporting asking for Nicole to furnish the names and addresses of everybody who was at their 1996 wedding in Hawaii. His strategy, it appears, is he wants to prove that she was not under duress when she got married, because her camp says that she was pressured to sign the prenup. Okay, well, you was pressured. Let me get the names of everybody. Everybody take the stand. How you doing? State your name. Did you see her get married? Yes. Was she crying? Nope. Was she happy? Yep. Okay, next, state your name. Did you see her get married? Yes. Was she crying? Nope. Thank you. Next, state your name. That feels like that's his strategy on that. What do you think about that strategy, Kamal?
I don't know if it really is relevant. Those are two different things, getting married and signing the prenup, Mm-hmm. Wedding day, this is what a lot of women, dream of. So, of course, she's not going to be crying on the wedding day, but the night before, with the prenup and the lawyers, that might have been like a difficult situation for her. So, I don't know if that's the strategy. Just because she was happy on the wedding day proves that she wasn't forced into signing the prenup. My strategy or my stance would be she didn't have to get married. She didn't have to sign the shit.
Didn't have to sign it, man.
I don't give a fuck.
You could have just not gotten married.
I don't give a fuck how much pressure we put on her. Like,
I mean, women do the same shit to us.
Yeah, she didn't have to sign it.
When a woman pressures you to get married, and then you bring it up years later, you know what she says? I didn't pressure you. I just said I wanted to get married. Mm-hmm. I never pressured you. I just said that's what I wanted. You did it. They forget all the pressure.
Yeah.
So Dre's doing the same thing. Now, for her part, Mrs. Young wants Dre to show up to an in-person deposition, most likely so that he can't be coached, and so her lawyers can observe his responses during the questioning. Dre is allegedly playing the COVID card. Yeah. Said that's why he can't make it. Yeah, I don't want to get COVID. But you know how women, they always know how to clap back. Mrs. Young reportedly said he does not seem to be socially distancing while, quote, entering and exiting the homes of multiple women around the Los Angeles area. Ooh. Shade, how you feel about that, Kamal?
Well, she's been doing this for months now, man. She's always been trying to, like, indirectly or imply that he's been unfaithful. Maybe that's a part of the prenup. Some people have like clauses in there.
Yes.
If it's some infidelity, you get an extra $3-4 million, or
I would never put that in mind.
or the prenup is actually null and void. So she's been hinting at it, implying it without directly saying it, trying to get him to take a paternity test. I mean, like, let me see any and stuff like that. Man, I hope Dre doesn't take the bait, man. If you didn't catch me, you ain't gonna catch me now. If you didn't catch me while we was married.
Yep. Oh, well. And let me tell you something. You did sign that prenup, so I'm really sorry you're going to leave with these parting gifts, but I ain't got nothing else to say to you. When we come back, Jason Momoa said he is terrified of his wife. And later in the show, we have a Dear Irby letter from a guy who wants to know, should he squash the beef with his brother for the holidays? Normally, we would say yes, but wait until you hear his story. Woo, it's the MRA Podcast. Hey guys and gals, if you're enjoying the show, let someone know. Whatever app you're listening on, please subscribe, give us 5 stars, and leave a positive comment.
And why wouldn't you give us 5 stars and a positive comment? We're great.
Yes, we are. This helps our placement so that other people can enjoy the show as well.
And why wouldn't they? We're great.
Jason Momoa is terrified of his wife, Kamal. You sent me this article, and when you sent me this, you said disgusting. I hadn't seen that you said that. The first thing I said when I read it was disgusting. It's like they want to, it's propaganda to them. You know how many times I've been told how great of a man Jason Momoa is? It's like he's this macho, sculpted guy, hell of a man. Why don't you be more like him? He looks great. He acts great. He treats his woman. Let me tell you something about Jason Momoa. No shade. He was born and raised in a culture where they put women on a pedestal. And you would say all cultures should do that. And I would agree. But in their culture, they really, 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 really do. And that's something we got to work on in the black culture. I'm just going to be 100. We do. But that starts from the childhood. Just like you got to learn how to be a husband, you definitely got to learn how to be a wife because that ain't natural. You got to learn how to treat men with respect. You got to learn how to treat women with honor. That has to be trained from the jump, from the whole culture. Because we grew up on, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And, we grew up on if this nigga say something stupid to you, take off on his mouth. These are things that we learn in our culture. You know what I'm saying, Kamal?
Yes. Yeah, I mean.
So he was.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Some of us was raised like this.
It's not even some of us. I mean, a lot of us, because that was the
we
culture.
Weren't raised like this, but like we grew up on this shit. I'm not gonna say our parents or.
Our parents didn't say it, but when we left the house,
we would definitely.
Yeah, when we left the house, that's what we learned from at school. That's what we learned from our friends. That's what we learned in the street. Of no, you want respect, you knock that nigga out if he say something. Period. That's a rule. You know what I mean? The rule, they can teach us any rule that they want, but everybody agreed, and that was the rule. So anyway, that's the first thing she had going for him. The second thing is he was a fan of hers. This man was absolutely infatuated with this woman, possibly before they even met. She's 12 years older than him. So who the hell you think is smarter? She knew how to pick him. She was smart. This is what we tell you fellas. This is what we would tell you ladies. Find the one who's into you. That's what she did. So yes, he's absolutely scared of her. Now, does she abuse the power? I hope not. I really hope not, Kamal. What upset you about this article before you sent it?
Well, Jason Momoa is a big, tough action star.
Yes.
He's known as this tough guy. And I just hate the fact that, the guys we look up to, it seems like they try to, knock him down a peg or two. Like,
President Obama, we talked about him last week.
Jason Momoa, big tough guy. He's Aquaman. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's big and he's strong and all this shit. I'm not even the king of my own house, he says.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. We didn't need to know that.
We trying to be the king of our house, dog.
Yeah, and it's like, this is fine, right? This is fine. But when, whose wife was it? Was it Jeezy or somebody like that? And she said she'll submit.
Submit, yeah.
Or when Monique says something like that about her husband.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Like, women hate it.
Yep.
Women go in on them and stuff like that, and they have to defend themselves. Like, hey, man, I'm into my husband. I bet you setting us back 30 years, 300 years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like the only thing to say is the woman runs the show. That's the only thing that you can say without getting backlash.
Yes.
From I guess women is she's in charge.
Yeah.
You know, Jason.
Because if
if
they said she cooks my meals 3 times a day, when I walk in, she gives me a foot massage. Like these are seen as derogatory things. Come on,
right? Yeah. If Lisa Bonet was like, I just do whatever he says. I mean, he's the king, and I'm here to serve, and I trust his judgment, and we follow. He leads, and we follow. They would be like, what the fuck?
What is wrong? What did Bill Cosby do to her?
Right.
So yes, we got another one that went out like that. Well, guess what? When we come back, we're going to talk about a guy who did not go out like that. This guy had 6 women pregnant at the same time. And later on the show, LeVar Ball warns his sons about the women they are going to encounter when they get to the NBA. What did he say? We'll discuss it next. It's the MRA Podcast. You listen to us, but Kamal and I want you to know that we listen to you too.
Even if we don't always respond to your tweets in a timely manner.
I love how you say we, man. So if you have some feedback, maybe you agree.
Maybe you disagree.
Or maybe you just want to tell us how much you love the show, or that you want to testify about how we specifically helped you out. Or maybe you just want to tell Kamal how he was right or wrong.
But mostly right.
Whatever you want to tell us, hit us on our social. I'm at Kyle Irby.
I'm at Angry Kamal.
Hit us up and you just might hear your comment on the air.
Promise. We'll be gentle.
Kamal, this guy got his 6 wives pregnant. Man, you sent me this, didn't you?
Yeah, man.
According to Vlad, a Nigerian baller who is described as a socialite and club owner named, I'm going to mess his name up, man. I'm sorry. And this is from the motherland, too, man. I think I have majority Nigerian blood. I should know these names, but, something happened to me and my people. We're not going to get into that right now. Easy Nawale Nwogo. He's also known as Pretty Mike, by the way.
I'll be calling him Pretty Mike from.
Okay,
from
Pretty Mike. Just call him Mike. Pretty Mike. He's gotten all 6 of his wives pregnant at the same time. Dude is known for buying his wives hella expensive gifts and flossing them on the gram. Come on, how does a man pull this off?
Well, being from Nigeria and being a baller. You know what I'm saying? So,
check. Didn't we just talk about the way you're trained?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this shows you that if a guy does his job and if she is brought up in a certain way, we're not dealing with no cheating. We're not. This is strong black women right here. We're not dealing with cheating. Y'all talk about us cheating. What if we were both trained? Instead of trying to train us to be a certain way that a lot of men, black men, can't seem to pull off, what if we train y'all to be able to accept who he really is? Ooh, that's so controversial, Kamal.
Yeah, man. But Kyle, I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to warn my man Pretty Mike. This is dangerous.
Uh-oh, why?
This is dangerous. Here's the thing, man.
Help me.
The man got 6 kids. I mean, 6,
At the same time.
6 women. 6 of his wives are pregnant. He better make all 6 deliveries. He better make all 6. You know what I'm saying? That man, funny. He can't go to 4 and be out of town for 2 or whatever. Because it's going to be hell to pay. And here's the thing about it, too. When the kids are all born, there has to be a universal set of rules. One person got to be in charge of all the kids, man. We can't have 6 different households, 6 different rules and stuff like that. Because if they stay in a little village, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? It's time to go to bed. Why? He gets to stay up because I'm not his mother and all. Hey, man. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like Boo-Foo, Kamal. That's your Boo-Foo voice?
My Boo-Foo voice, man. That's my bad African accent. But all right, one set of rules, man. When somebody gets to eat cake for dessert because mom lets them and another mom says no to one kid, you got problems, man. So here's the thing.
That's like America with the mask issue. We got problems because it's different rules in different regions.
Here's the thing. I'm about to say some controversial shit, man.
Do it, man. It's the MRA Podcast.
But it's like when Saddam was in charge and people hated him because he was like a brutal dictator.
Not that controversial. I fuck with it.
No, he was a brutal dictator. People hated him. But guess what wasn't going on, man? What no terrorism and shit like that going on. What you mean? Well, like ISIS and all these fights, they say basically Saddam kept that shit in control once he left.
Why?
Because he was a brutal dictator. I'm not saying Pretty Mike has to be brutal. I'm saying somebody has to be in charge of all of this shit. You You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, sometimes it's like we might not like the rules, but when you got a motherfucker who's like, this is the way it is, and I'm not saying it could be Pretty Mike, it could be one of his wives. You know, it could be number one wife, but somebody has to run that shit, because what you don't want is you don't want to have 6 different factions. And when Saddam was gone, he had all these different factions going on in Iraq, and this shit turned into like a fucking, just pandemonium. Yeah, free for all. Like, hey man, boss is gone. We can all get a piece of this. And it's like, nah. Saddam was keeping that shit intact. You know what I'm saying? As bad as he was, I know I had an Uber driver from Iraq. But he was like, man, honestly, no bullshit, man. Wasn't bad under Saddam. I think he bounced. He bounced after they hung Saddam. His shit crazy.
Oh, he bounced after Saddam.
Yeah, he was like, man, Saddam, but you knew the rules.
You knew the rules as long as you followed them. Not saying he was a good dude, but this was the rules. Wow, that's deep, dog. For my man, Pretty Mike. I learned this lesson. This one of the big homies. One of every man you need man mentors. One of my man mentors said, and I never forgot it to this day. He said, when you come home, always greet your lady before the kids. Kiss your wife first. He said, you're going to want to kiss the kids first. And I was like, really? He said, trust me, you're going to want. And now I'm like, oh, I see what he meant. She has a hard time competing with them damn kids because you didn't raise her, you raised them fucking kids. You love them kids differently than you love her. You have to remember and make sure you kiss first wife first. That's also, you need to have some rules. They needs to be, they ain't all equal. Somebody needs to be
order?
the number one. Yes. Somebody better be the number one wife.
And whoever, if she's number one, she needs to be making the rules, man, about them kids. I'm telling you, somebody got to be in charge.
Yeah, in the streets they call it the bottom bitch. She gets the first kiss every time. Don't kiss the youngest, cutest. No. You kiss the oldest, the OG first, and then work your way down.
Hold on, Kyle.
Go ahead.
I find it funny that some square ass niggas are giving this dude advice on how to deal with his
I know. These motherfuckers over there still cheating in America. You gonna give me some advice? I'll slap the shit out you, dog.
I had my 6 wives slap
your wife gone. Yeah. Nigga, did your wife leave you for cheating? Nigga, I don't cheat. So ain't you, nigga?
I have each one of my wives slap you niggas.
Hey man, slap this nigga, this American ass. Nigga can't even say a Nigerian name. Motherfucker say he got Nigerian blood. Man, slap the shit out of his ass, dog.
We giving this nigga advice.
We giving this nigga, a couple of square ass niggas. Boy, I swear to God. These niggas hilarious. Man, we come back. LeVar Ball warns his sons about the women they will encounter. And later in the show, we have a Dear Irby letter from a guy who wants to know, should he squash the beef with his brother for the holidays? Normally we would say yes, but wait until you hear his story. It's the MRA Podcast. Guys, I have a comedy album. It's called Be a Man at All Times, and it's on, what's it on? Oh, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you stream your content.
It's a damn good comedy album.
I appreciate that, man. There's stand-up on there. Kamal and I wrote a whodunit mystery called The Case of the Missing Balls. That's on there.
Based on a true story.
Check out the album. Show your boy some support. And you can buy it on iTunes. Keyword buy it. Stop streaming. LeVar Ball was on the Endless Huddle podcast, and he shared advice, speaking of advice, that he has given his sons about being pro ballers. He said, you ain't going to find nobody like I find your mom. LeVar's point was, when you're a rich basketball player, you only frequent nightclubs, fancy restaurants, and NBA stadiums. And they are breeding grounds for women that have not so good motives. Normal men have the advantage of meeting a good woman in school. That's where you met yours. That's where I met mine. This is at work. That's where I met mine. Or at church. All great places to meet a woman. His sons ain't going to school. They ain't going to church. And their work is an NBA stadium. I think he has a great point come out. Matter of fact, when I saw it, I was like, sons, check that out. Listen to the advice. How do you feel about LeVar's advice, Kamal?
Sage advice.
Sage. You don't even like LeVar Ball.
I do not even like LeVar. But, I mean, broken clock is, what, twice?
Wrong twice a day?
Yeah, right twice a day, right?
I mean, right twice a day, sorry.
No, I mean, this is good advice, man, honestly, because he's right. You know, LeVar didn't play, he played pro football.
Yeah, he played for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. And he trained pro players, I believe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know,
he knows. Come on, man.
He knows the deal, man.
He's not like two Americans trying to give advice to a Nigerian with multiple wives. No.
He's
really
walked the walk.
This. Yeah, this nigga ain't just talking.
Yeah, man. Honestly, man, when you sent this my son, I was like, you damn right, man. And this is probably what they need to teach a lot of these youngsters, man.
In school,
because here's the thing, like it's not like back in the day, man, where a cat would spend 3-4 years in college. He can meet his chick from college.
Yes.
These guys are there for a year. And now, LeVar's kid, his youngest son, he didn't even go to school. Like you said, he's been playing pro ball since he was like 16. So everywhere he goes, he's like the number one like teenager on Instagram or something like that. The man for like his 17th birthday bought him like a Lambo or something like that, man. Like he's never, I'm not gonna say never, but every woman he meets has already done their research and homework on this man.
Absolutely.
And that's a really tough thing to deal with. How do you know if what she's saying is genuine? It's like, Coming to America, whatever you like.
Yep.
I know what I like, but what do you like? Whatever you like. It's like,
and it's so hard. I saw this. I had an audition the other day in person, which was weird. And she was so pretty, Kamal, a doctor. It was just like I couldn't even look at her. That's how pretty she was. And I was just like, could you imagine if she knew who I was from this and that, and she decided she wanted to run game on me? I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that people don't know me. You know what I mean? Like I'm walking on the straight and narrow. I ain't doing crazy stuff like I used to. Yeah, because I'm walking around invisible. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm invisible. So it's like I don't have the ability to do what I used to be able to do. And that's part of the blessing. Could you imagine if you were, LaMelo Ball and whatever, all these Ball brothers, man, well, at least two of them. I mean, these women here's the thing, dog. Somebody's coaching these women up.
It's tough, man, because if you're looking for love. Now, if you just want to mess around, hey, man, you're the great spot right now. You just got drafted.
Yeah, but that does get over, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but when he goes to the club, they're walking in. It's gonna be a big spectacle. And then the DJ's gonna announce him and stuff like that. Shout out to such and such. So now every chick in the club knows that's LaMelo Ball. He just got drafted by the Charlotte Bobcats or whatever the fuck. And so now he's got a target.
Hornets.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that
the Hornets? Nah. They used to be the Bobcats. I called them the Bobcats as well. I might have even written Bobcats in the story, but nah, it's the Hornets. Nah, you old ass nigga. They are the Hornets. So it was remember? It was the New Orleans.
Oh my God.
It was New Orleans Hornets.
Is it still the Washington Bullets? Nah,
I'm out of here, man. When we come back, man, we have a Dear Irby letter from a guy who wants to know, should he squash the beef with his brother for the holidays? Normally we would say yes, but wait until you hear this story. It's the MRA Podcast. Hey guys, what's up? If you're enjoying this show, do us a favor and donate to our Patreon.
Word.
Just go to www.patreon.com. That's Patreon.com and make a donation to the MRA Podcast of Kyle and Kamal.
Word.
It's that simple. Listen to the show, love the show, share the show, break the show off with some dough.
Bars.
Let's get in this Dear Irby letter.
Let us.
Dear Irby, I grew up with this little brother, and you know how it goes. We always tease our little brothers. I'm just going to say I do not like the way that starts. You know how it goes. Just maybe because I'm a little brother. You know how it is. We always tease our little brothers, man. He says I teased him all his life, but I don't see it like that. I only did it to toughen him up. Because he used to always cry like a baby. One time when he was talking too much shit to me, I promised I was going to spank him on the video game, and then after, again. I won, and sure enough, I got a belt and spanked him after the game in front of his friends. We didn't talk for a while after that. You think? A few years ago, we had this big family dinner for Thanksgiving. I was drinking and having a good time, and I started talking shit to my little brother. I told him when I beat him on the game, I was going to spank him after, just like old times. So I won, and I grabbed my belt, and before I could swat, he starts hitting me, and he hit me so hard, he knocked me out for a few seconds.
I'm sorry.
I know. I'm sorry too, man. He says, come on, we're grown-ups. I was only going to pretend to spank him. And this guy goes off and starts wailing on me. The worst part is when I came to and they sit me up to see if I'm okay, my girlfriend at the time, she kind of snickers at me, which is hilarious because that's exactly what me and Kamau just did. We got the visual of him putting that 3-piece with a biscuit on you. We laughed involuntarily. She said she was holding in a sneeze. I think she was laughing at me, and I didn't like it. We almost broke up over that, but we worked it out, and now we're married. This is why I'm writing this letter. She wants me to invite my brother over for Thanksgiving, and I don't want to. I told her it won't work because of COVID, but she says I have to apologize to this guy and have him over for dinner. I'm writing to you guys because I need you to intervene here. No guy is going to call a guy over that knocked him out in front of his wife. Woof. Come on, guys, explain it to my wife for me, please. Her name is Missy, and this is Columbus. I thought that was a city. Columbus in Richland, Washington. I've been in Richland. Columbus and Richland. Jamal, you're up.
Well, I'll say this, man. Maybe, I would question my relationship with Missy because it seems like she wants to. He must have been talking some shit around the house. She was like, "Hey, let's invite your brother over for Thanksgiving." Why?
Oh, that is funny.
Oh, yeah, motherfucker, you talk that shit in front of him. Here's the thing.
Oh my God, that's funny.
If anybody ever knocked me out in front of my girlfriend or wife, we cannot occupy the same space. You know, the day I get knocked out, the very next day I'm in a karate class. And not like one of those self-defense karate. I'm in one of them Cobra Kai's like, nigga, teach me how to, you know what I'm saying, show no mercy.
Are you watching Cobra Kai, by the way?
Love it.
Oh, it's so good.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm in the Cobra.
Man, Cobra Kai is so good.
Yeah, I'm in the Cobra Kai dojo the next day. But
that is hysterical.
This is not ordinary times, man. This is not a normal person. This is your brother. So I'm going to tell you, Columbus, Missy's right on this one.
Oh, no.
Missy's right. Missy is 100% right. Let me explain why, Kyle.
Oh, no. I got a visceral reaction. Oh,
no. Missy is correct on this one. Here's the thing. Columbus, what you did to your brother, you said you've been teasing him his whole life, and you just dismissed it. It was nothing. This is what we do. You spanked him in front of his friends.
Oh my God.
The scars you put on this guy, your brother, the ones you supposedly love, you have no idea how deep those scars run. You just dismiss it. You're dismissing his pain. You don't know the effect that it had on him growing up. You know, you truly don't know if he got teased. You know, he became whooping boy, whatever. You have no idea. You thought this shit was funny, and you walked it off because it didn't happen to you. But here's the thing. Years later, after he folded you in front of your wife, now you have scars. And you're like, oh, man, this is bullshit. It's like, well, dude, you started it. You were gonna take off your belt and pretend like you were whooping him again, and he had a flashback. When he jumped on you, that was years of pent-up frustration. He actually waited for you to do that shit. He wished you, I wish that motherfucker would pull off his belt again. And he snapped. And you got folded in front of your wife. Honestly, man, you deserve it, man. I think that was one of those things where it's like you probably caused so much misery and therapy. I don't know if he actually went to therapy, but definitely probably needed to go to therapy because he's harbored this shit for so many years. You did that. You know, this is unlike Aunt Viv, but you see how Aunt Viv is reacting. Yeah. Aunt Viv, at 30 years, she still was pissed off at Will. As a matter of fact, in 2018, she was still laying into him. As recent as 2018, sending out videos. This is to you, Will Smith.
This is, make no mistake.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Yeah. And so, listen, man, we have no idea the pain that our actions cause sometimes. Because, you know, it doesn't affect us. We go off and we move on with our lives, but you don't realize You left a trail of like broken people behind you just because you were having fun. Thought the shit was funny. Everybody isn't as strong as you. And here's the thing about it, Columbus. You're obviously not as strong as you think because you're holding a grudge. You know, honestly, man, I think that you and your brother need to have a conversation. I think you need to own up to it. Listen to him like Kyle was talking about Will's listening game. I think you need to listen to what your brother has to say. How difficult that shit was for him. And I don't want to hear, we're just fucking around. This is what big brothers do. Hear that shit, man. Hear it. Hear the pain that you caused because honestly, him jumping on you, that was pent up frustration. There's a couple of people, man, honestly, that, you know, I would have really jumped on just because I was, I felt they wronged me. Coach Johnson's what?
Hilarious, Coach Johnson.
Nah, but it's something that you can't dismiss, Columbus. Yeah. And he's your brother. I don't know how many brothers you have, but, you know, this isn't a friend. You guys probably grew up in the same house, same parents. I don't think that you guys should be apart or estranged. So I would say listen to Missy, man. Call up your brother, invite him over, and y'all two go in the back and drink a beer, whatever, and y'all, you know, hash that shit out, man.
When we come back, I'm going to weigh in. Yo, what's up? I'm Kyle.
And I'm Kamal.
And you're listening to the MRA podcast where men come to talk and women come to eavesdrop. Kamal, I don't know why this letter touched me like this. I didn't think much of it. I just said, it's Thanksgiving. Let me use it for Thanksgiving episode. Didn't think anything of it. But now I'm like, wow, man, this is deep. And I think because the Will Smith thing bothered me too. Because I know that I've hurt people in the past. Mm-hmm. And I almost said there's nothing worse. But there is actually something worse. It's being hurt.
The only thing worse than hurting people is actually being hurt yourself.
Look at that Will Smith shit. I kept finding myself thinking, why are we feeling bad for Will? He's the asshole. I keep feeling bad for Will. She's the victim. Will used his power to hurt her. And that Will Smith thing come out that just made me think, no matter how mad you get at anybody, nobody deserves your worst. Because, you know, we can especially writers and comedians like ourselves, we can eviscerate a motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And nobody deserves that. Because when you calm down and get over it, they're not over it. You know what I mean? I just think back to when I was a kid. And I've always been real sensitive about people getting bullied. But I know I've participated, but not, I mean, here we go. I'm about to be a bitch about it. But not as bad as others. I know I have. And it's just not right. It's just not right. And so I think that Will Smith thing was so touching to me because he had to, I don't want to listen to nobody that I hurt. I don't want to hear that shit. I really don't. Because in reality, I'm thinking about what the fuck you did. This is why I lit your ass up. You had it coming. And that's just not the energy you want. So I say all that to say that Columbus, I don't think you should invite your brother over for Thanksgiving. But I do think you need to start the healing process. Because you are still in denial about what you have done and the pain. You're making excuses through the whole damn letter. I grew up with a little brother. You know how it goes. No, we don't know how it goes. We always tease little brothers. That just takes it away from you right there. Oh, well, come on, man. We always. No, you're justifying it. Mm-hmm. He says I tease him his life, but I didn't see it like that. This is what we learned from the Will Smith episode of Red Table. Go watch it. Go listen to it. It's all about his story. From his story is you tease him all his life. Will Smith said, love is spelled L-U-V. Listen, understand. I forgot what the V stood for.
Value, man?
Damn it.
I don't know.
Probably? I
no
threw
idea.
the fucking notes away.
Verify.
Niggas, boy, ain't shit. But I had all these notes. Look, I had all these notes.
Listen, understand, and V.
Fuck.
V. I don't know.
I wrote the notes down.
But the first two is much more.
Listen. Nigga, that's fucking hysterical. Listen, understand. Shit. What was it? God damn. Anyway, the point. And it really shit did touch me though. Oh my God. I'm really okay. Listen to the story. Repeat it back. Validate. I had to get these notes out the trash, I swear to God.
Validate. Okay.
Validate the points that are true. That's it. Listen, understand, and validate the points that are true. And that's love, L-U-V. You've got to start working on you first, Columbus. You are wrong. And I'm telling you from a person who's been wrong and is wrong. Now, some of the stuff I don't believe in, Cheryl Underwood, she'll go into me on her podcast and she'll tell me how I'm not what I claim to be. You know, I just listen, just like, all right, man. I can't say a motherfucker tell me what I'm not. Like, nigga, I know me better than you know me, but I'll listen. Certain things you're just not going to agree on. Me and my ex, we ain't never going to agree on certain things. But she has a lot of points. And so you just got to listen, man. I could tell you right now, we could just start at the top of your letter. We ain't even got to go through it, man. You've got to realize that you were wrong. Don't worry about Thanksgiving because then it makes it about you. Don't make it about you and what you need and what Missy needs. Nah, fuck about that. It's about your brother. You need to listen. Now, I understand you not wanting to bring a man in your house that lumped you up, and I get that. It's not. I don't care about the Thanksgiving. I care about the relationship. The relationship is way more important than some holiday tradition. Fuck the holiday traditions, man. For real, for real. Family is important. Listen to how you've hurt him. I don't want to hear what he did to you. He snapped on you. You did that. He did it, but you inspired it. So my thing to you is, am I going to tell Missy to tell him? I'm going to tell Missy, you can't have no man at your house that whooped your ass. But that's not about this. It is, but it ain't. The real issue is you need to listen to your brother. You need to start owning up your own shit. And I'm just going to hate on you, Missy, right quick. The reason why she laughed is the same reason why me and Kamel laughed. She probably thought you had it coming.
Well, what if she didn't, dude?
It's so delicious. Fuck that. She did.
Here's the thing about it. When you get embarrassed, you look around, everybody is laughing at you, but the nigga ain't really laughing at you. Like, he's looked at you, like, motherfucker, the fuck you laughing at? Like, what? I'm not even laughing at you.
I was thinking about you, man. I'm laughing at something else. Nah, fuck that. They laughing at you. She laughed at you and you deserved it, man. You need some advice in your relationship
and can't afford a therapist?
Yeah. Hit us up and we'll get you through this.
We won't even charge you a copay.
Exactly. The Dear Irby letter is our longest standing segment on the MRA, dating all the way back to the webisodes. This is where we truly save relationships one listener at a time. We've saved marriages.
Encouraged divorce.
Taught a guy how to please his woman.
Encouraged divorce.
Yeah, so hit us up for advice and we'll help you out. Send your emails to dearirby@themrapodcast.com. That is dearirby@themrapodcast.com. Where can we find you?
Twitter and Instagram, at Angry Kamel.
I'm at Kyle Irby, KYLEERBY. At the MRA Podcast is where you can find us both. You can add us, and man, we'll get to you eventually. KyleIrby.com is my website, man. You can see some of my commercials. My new joint is up there right now. Go to KyleIrby.com. Kamel, you saw it, man. Thank you for...
yeah, man, you was wearing the wrong HU.
I know, man. I did not want to wear no Hampton-ass other HU shit, but you know what? Listen, Hampton has to deal with the company.
I would have rocked that. Yeah, I would have rocked that Hampton too. But
I would have rocked Southern.
Speaking of HU, man, we lost one.
Yeah, y'all did, man.
Yeah, we lost one. David Dinkins, man, the first black mayor of New York City, has passed. He was, 93. Jeez.
93. Rest in peace, brother.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you for what you did, man. And even you didn't get the credit that you deserve for turning Times Square around, but we know that was you, bro, man. We love you. Rest in peace. And Kamau history this week, man. You pointed this out to me during the break. All black referees in Monday Night Football. Wasn't that fire?
Yeah, man. First time the whole officiating crew was all black, man.
Yeah, man.
It was historic. Yes. It was beautiful. The only problem was the game was late. It started with
But listen, at least no baby mamas ran up there like, I knew you had a child.
Now, salute to them dudes, man. They called the fine game, no controversy, and it was historic, man. It was a proud moment. I'm glad that I was there to watch it.
Me too, man. If you love this show or any other shows we have done, check us out on the MRApodcast.com this week and listen to all 121 of our episodes, man. Come out. Thank you for bringing it every single time, man.
No problem.
Ladies, we love you. Fellas, be a man at all times.
Deuces.
MRA.